In this video, I'm going to open up the PowerPoint in week 9 that covers this research paper. So I'm going to go ahead and go through this PowerPoint, and then I'm going to also take a quick look at this thesis statement guideline in this video. All right, so if we open up this video or this PowerPoint here, go ahead and get it ready. All right, so the informational analytical research paper, you're writing a paper that is both informative, in other words, not persuasive, informative, but it's also analytical. You need to take this controversial topic and break it down into its viewpoints. All right. So an analytical paper asks you to do several things, and you've already done some of these things. You've started to formulate a thesis in that you came up with a purpose statement that looked at your topic objectively. You're going to do a little bit more with your thesis statement for this, but you're already beginning to think analytically about your topic. You need to gather sources and evaluate them. You've already done those with your annotated bibliography. And we're going to learn how to use those sources and document your use of those sources. All right. So this researched issue analysis essay, again, you're choosing an issue. We talked about an issue when we did the proposal. This is a topic that is unresolved. There are multiple, possibly conflicting perspectives on your issue, and all of you have chosen an issue. I've already looked at them, and I think you're all on the right track with this. And you're going to present at least 2 of those sides to the issue. You must be objective in your presentation of these viewpoints for this issue. This is not an argument paper. So I'm going to let you read through all of the, all the things you gain from this experience. And one of the things that students find is that it's a real challenge to think objectively about a controversial topic. But learning to consider various sides is really beneficial for you to get a full understanding of your topic. Most students want to do an argument paper, not an analysis paper, because they already have an idea about how they feel about their topic, and they don't want to have to talk about the other side. Sometimes that other side is hard to cover, but when you work through this, you end up with a much stronger paper. So, and again, how is it different than a persuasive paper? With a persuasive paper, you also have to support your reasonings, but you are trying to really push one point of view over another. With this paper, you are not. Your job is to say, hey, look at both of these sides and consider them both equally. So, your thesis statement, when you start to write your thesis statement or turn your purpose statement into a thesis statement, you want to present both of those viewpoints. Now, at my announcement, I gave numerous examples of thesis statements for an analytical research paper, and you'll want to go and review those examples I gave, and you can see from those examples how very objectively various viewpoints get presented. Okay? So, just as I said, you're not developing an argument. You will when you get to your presentation. Your presentation is going to allow you to argue for one side of the issue or the other. But right now, you're simply going to look at it objectively. Right here, I'm going to go ahead and back out because I have, let me just actually forward over some of these. Let me go ahead and, I'm going to go ahead and go back to our announcement. And take a look at some of the sample thesis statements because they're all located one after the other. And I have 4 samples here. And I want you to carefully take a look at these on your own and look and see how I present the issue, the controversial issue, and then I let the reader know that there are 2 viewpoints or 2 perspectives, and I give a very brief description of those 2 perspectives. This is actually probably the most difficult part of this paper, is really trying to hone in on your 2 viewpoints. Sometimes that your viewpoints aren't so obvious at first, and that's why I'm having you cover that in your discussion board that's due on March 30th on Thursday, so that I can see if you're in the right direction. So if you, for example, if you look at this topic of physician-assisted suicide, most people would want to argue for like a morally right or a morally wrong perspective, and that's not what you're doing. This particular student breaks this issue down to doctor obligations and patient rights. And so by allowing you, the writer, to objectively present 2 actual viewpoints that could be argued. So that's sometimes a difficult thing to do, and that's what I want to see you do this week, is really try to come up with your 2 perspectives. The second example really highlights how sometimes you have to be creative. So I had a student wanting to write on food insecurity and food waste, and she was really struggling with coming up with her viewpoints, and we came up with 2 ways of looking at that topic, one having to deal with short-term hunger and waste, and one that was looking at bigger long-term issues of dealing with hunger. So you can see that's not necessarily like a right or wrong kind of thing. But yeah, I want you to go through that, really think about your topic and how you can break it apart, because your second assignment this week, let me get to week 9, asks you to do just that. So there's a discussion board, and you must start to think about your 2 main viewpoints in writing your thesis statement. All right? All right. So I'm going to sign off and send me an email if you need anything.